Hello, guys, and welcome to the Limitless Landscapers podcast. I'm Paula, your host, and today I'm talking about when things don't quite go to plan and what you can do about it. So, if you're interested in finding out more, let's go to the show.
As the co-founders of the Landscaper Circle, we help you get more money, time and freedom to become limitless through our experiences as fellow landscapers and our tried and tested methods. If you want help with your marketing, managing or growing your business, you've definitely come to the right place. If you're a landscaper, garden designer or supplier to the industry, then hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Now, let's get back to the show.
Hello, guys. Welcome to this new episode of the Limitless Landscapers podcast. How are you doing? How's business? Drop me a DM if you've got anything you need help with. I am the landscapers coach after all. But today in this podcast episode, I'm talking to you about when things go not quite to plan. So if any of you have been following me for a while or even just a little while, you'll know that I just competed in my very first bodybuilding competition as a 41-year-old woman, mother of two, business owner, and complete novice. So I did a first timers bodybuilding show up in Birmingham over the weekend, and it was an amazing experience, a very interesting experience, but it didn't quite go to plan. Now, if any of you know me or know a little bit about me, you'll know that I am very competitive and everything I do to win, because my argument is let's aim high, and if you fall short, and at the end of the day, every loss is a lesson, and we need to strive to be better all of the time. So, of course, I went into this very first show thinking I'm going to win or place. Now, the amount of effort that went into going to this first show, it's not just the minutes that you're on stage, but it's in my case, 18 months prior to that of growing, going into a growth phase and building my body. It's the training that goes into it. It's the complete restriction on food. It's the prep phase, which is completely insane, where you're on very low calories, very high expenditure. It's the steps I needed to get in. It's the daily posing. Basically, it's a lot of effort went in. So to then go on stage and not place, my initial reaction was frustration, sadness. I was utterly gutted, because it feels like you're not good enough. Now, I'm sharing this with you because it's all applicable to business. If you think about how I've described the stages of preparing for a bodybuilding competition, it's no different to when we're growing a business for ourselves. We hit various growth phases which require intense effort on our part. So we'll be spending more time on the business. We'll be investing more money in the business. For me, in my bodybuilding journey, I've invested a lot of money into coaches, posing, training, food, supplements, the bikini, the travel cost, the entry to the competitions, all of these things. So investment is high. And it's not always plain sailing. At the end of the day, we tend to go into a growth phase. We invest a lot of time and money. We learn a lot of lessons. We might dip off and then we go again. Now, like I say, it's exactly the same in our businesses. We just need to learn the lessons. And I guess that's what I'm talking about today, is the fact that it's okay that it doesn't always go right first time. And it's okay to feel sad, angry, frustrated, upset. I did. And it's important then to look at who you're surrounding yourself with. So for me, my trainer and Mike, my husband, were straight there. As soon as I was like, I'm done with this, I'm out, I'm not doing it, I'm obviously not good enough. I had all that self-talk, all that self-doubt that I'd worked on in the stages leading up to the competition, all came back. And I really felt frustrated, upset, and yeah, just fuming, really. And so my support was there, and they talked me down, and we discussed the various points of, hang on a second, look at what it's taken to get you here today, and look, it's your first rodeo. And at the end of the day, when it comes to business, a lot of us have not had experience in running a business. And when we go through a growth phase, it is learning a lot of lessons. And sometimes you have to pull back. In my own business, that's currently what I'm doing. And essentially, you have to get on board with the fact that you're going to probably hate it and it's going to feel like you failed, but actually, you are taking the lessons you've learnt, you are implementing the changes that need to happen in order to go again better. Now, you don't need to necessarily grow again. For me, in my landscaping business, I've decided that we're not growing in that particular way, but I've got a different strategy to utilize in order to grow my business to exactly how I want it to be, that will give me the lifestyle that I want. And it's the same with this bodybuilding. So I have another competition already booked. I had that booked when I stepped on stage the first time. And I had to have a serious conversation with myself, because if I allowed those initial feelings of not being good enough to stay with me and wallow in it and get negative and take away all the and feel really angry for a long period of time, now I'm all for feeling the feelings and then just moving forward, then it could affect my next competition. So instead, I decided to reflect, and I suggest you guys do this in your business regularly. Reflect on the performance and reflect on what's going really well and how can you do more of that. What's going not so well that you could change, adapt, tweak, improve upon, do different, get rid of, outsource, all of these things. And how does it compare to a year ago? How does it compare to 2 years ago? How have you grown and developed as a business? What is your business giving you now that it didn't give you a year ago? And these are the kind of questions I've been reflecting on for the past couple of days. So I competed on Sunday. I was exhausted Sunday and Monday. And now yesterday was my first day back on plan, back on training, and back to it, and essentially back mentally, because at the end of the day, I've had a couple of days of reflecting on what I could have done better. And to be fair, when I look back at the photos, the videos, I know I can improve. And there's many reasons why. I think I didn't feel comfortable because essentially the straps on my bikini bottoms started breaking the night before I went on stage. So you can imagine. Luckily, my husband fixed them with super glue, but the fact was I was terrified that if I made any strong poses on stage, they would snap and I would have no pants on, which, I'm not being funny, is not the most ideal thing. So that was one thing that was playing on my mind. So I did not pose like I would usually pose. And I did not feel comfortable because they were slightly small. So the solution is I've sent them back to the lady that makes these bikinis, and she's altering them. She's putting new connectors on. So when we go again at my next competition, I will be far more comfortable. They'll be more secure and they'll look better. Other things I didn't do as well. I didn't transition in my posing. Now, I practice my posing day in, day out, because that was my weakest part. I can train, I can eat, I can follow a plan. When it comes to having sass on stage, that's not really me. So again, I get that, because I need to become somebody else on stage in order to transition much more smoothly than I did. But I'll give it to myself. I can improve by practicing more, changing transitions, deciding how I'm going to do my presentation. But also, I am a very first timer. This is the first time I've ever stepped on stage. I've got to give myself credit where credit's due. And I didn't actually think I was going to get on that stage, because the nerves before were so high, I almost just burst into tears and just quit there and then, because it was so far out of my comfort zone that I just didn't want to do it at some points. Now, that's the thing. Stepping outside your comfort zone is where true growth happens. And when I stepped on that stage and I was completely out of my comfort zone, I actually really enjoyed it. And I didn't ever think I'd say that. It was one of those things that if when I stepped on the stage, I was either going to love it or hate it. And in the back of my mind, I thought, I'm going to hate it. I'm going to get through this season and then I probably won't do competitive bodybuilding. The opposite happened. I went on that stage. I did the best I could on that day, bearing in mind nerves, the pants, everything, obviously feeling really ultra. You're on stage in front of people. You're compared to, I had a big class. I had 13 other girls I was being compared to. I was the oldest there. It was terrifying, but it was also really exciting, really fun. And I knew then that this was just the start because I want to bring better. And I think that's the other thing. If you have any losses, so if you have anything that you feel that you failed at, and part of me does see this as a failure because everyone's asking, how did you do? Well, I didn't place, didn't come anywhere, didn't win, didn't achieve what I wanted to go and achieve. However, what I did achieve, I stepped on stage for the first time. I realized that I actually enjoy this. And I switched my focus onto what could be seen as a loss to what is a growth opportunity. I can develop myself and I can grow and I can bring better and I can compete and I can become that athlete that I want to be. So it means stepping on stage. It means stepping out of my comfort zone. It means thinking about what next season might look like, and what the future might look like for me and my bodybuilding. As a person, when we do this in business, we need to reflect all of the time in order to see losses not as a loss, but as a lesson to improve and to come back better. And that is really what I took away, that this was my first rodeo. This was a trial run. We go again in 30 days, 29 days, and I'm going to bring better. And I am going to be more polished and I am going to have less anxiety because I know what's going to happen. See, that's the other thing. As humans, it's really scary when we don't know what's going to happen. I rocked up there. I had no idea how I would feel on stage. I had no idea how it was going to run. I had no idea what they'd make us do. I thought it was comparisons and eye walks. It was comparisons, eye walks, where there was so many of us. There were call outs. There was going to the back of the room. There was a 60-second pose down. We were on stage for a lot longer than I anticipated. I had also practiced everything from the right and I was put on the left. So that completely threw me in my brain and I had to think quickly and just deal with it as it came on, not melt down, not quit, not freak out, just get on with it. And actually it was fine. But we do get these things thrown in our way and they are obstacles sent to test us. And they are sent to help us learn something, develop, grow. So I am a big advocate that everything worth having is outside of your comfort zone. And if you're not scared, and I've said this in previous podcasts, if your goal isn't big enough and it doesn't scare you, then is it really worth it? Is it big enough? Are you going to grow from it if you think it's easy, it's not scary? I tell you what, this whole thing has been terrifying from day one. I've had to deal a lot with my mindset, and that's something else as business owners we need to keep on top of, because my mindset at various points was, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not big enough, you're not muscly enough, you're not slim enough, you're not enough. And I had to work on that behind the scenes, behind the whole training and the posing and what everyone sees on stage, in order to get over that I am enough and I am good enough. Just on that day, I wasn't as good as I could have been. And then that gives me a chance to go away and grow. I got judges' feedback this morning, and essentially the things that I thought weren't good enough, like my quads, they said were really good. My back was really good. They said basically I need to develop a rounder bum and my transitions in my posing need to be improved, which I 100% agree with. So again, getting that feedback is great, because what I can do with that is tweak things. My trainer has given me a new plan. We've got a new plan of refeeds every week to see how my body responds to being fed, to being obviously brought down into a deficit. And we take that feedback, we implement changes, and we go again. And if I don't place again, it doesn't matter. I will get more feedback. I will be able to go into an off season and develop everything that needs to be developed in order to go into season 2 fighting. So yeah, it's when things go wrong, you can either sit back, cry about it, you can get into your negative space of not being enough, you can let it get into your head, which it did for a day. I actually did spend quite a few I spent quite a few tears, shall we say. I was quite upset because it is so much effort just to do that, and it took a lot to even get up on stage for me. I'm not that kind of a person, but I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I plan to do it again. And actually, having a post-show call with my coach, and this is again, you need to think about how you're getting supported in your business, in your life, because having that, I had a post-show call with my coach yesterday, and it was just good to chat about what we thought went good, bad, how we could improve, what the plan was going forward. And we've actually changed shows. I was meant to compete in 10 days. And I don't think not only my headspace would be right, but I would feel so anxious about going back on stage that quickly and not being able to make the changes I need to make. So we've actually switched shows. We've switched out to a show on the 26th of October. So it gives me 29 days rather than 10. It's also a natural show for natural athletes. And I'm not sure if you guys know, but I'm a completely natural athlete. I don't take any fat burners, steroids, any performance enhancing drugs. I don't do. So I'm a completely natural athlete. So we're switching to a naturals show, which means everybody's tested, everybody's the same as me. Which will give me more of a chance as well. So we just changed the goals slightly, and that was the purpose of the call yesterday with my coach, to reframe my goals, because she asked me, why are you doing this? Now, initially, my initial reason to do it was I wanted to win, I wanted to place. That's the competitiveness coming out. But actually, what do I want to do now? I want to just bring better. I want to gain more confidence. And the only way I'm going to gain more confidence is by getting back on that stage again, getting some more stage time. So whether I place or not, doesn't matter. If I'm able to get that stage time, able to continue to build my confidence, then I'm only going to get better. So it's reframing your goals. And I would urge you to look at this in your business. If what you're doing in your business at this moment is not working, and your goals feel very far out of reach, or you're not connecting with them, I would urge you to look at them and reframe them, and maybe set some smaller goals or change the goals. You don't have to stick to that initial goal, and it doesn't matter if you don't achieve that goal, but you've achieved something else. And that's what I've had to get my head around, because for the last 2 days, all I've had is, it's been wonderful. I've had so many messages of support. Lots of you guys have messaged me, which I really appreciate as well. And literally people were just saying, how did you do? How did you do? And initially I was like, I don't want to tell people. I lost. And actually I've had to get over that and get on board with the fact that, okay, I didn't place, but I got on stage. I presented what is an incredible look. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of effort. I delivered what I wanted to deliver, but I need to work on it more. And that's fine. So I've had to get over that initial, oh God, I've got to tell everyone I failed. And that's that fear of failure setting in again. So it's a mindset piece all the time. And it's exactly the same in business. I can also feel that way in business, like we're going smaller. Is that a failure? Not if it's making more money, it isn't. Not if there's less stress and I get my husband home more often. Not if we're actually happier running a smaller business rather than a larger business. It's all down to what your goals are, what your life, what you want your life to look like. And is it truly all about money? Personally, I don't think so. So yeah, I think that's my thoughts today. When things don't go to plan, what can you do? You can work on your mindset. You can make sure you've got support in place. Do you need someone like me to help you and coach you and mentor you in your business, and just basically be your cheerleader? if you do, get in touch. I've got my coach, and I've also got a very supportive husband. So I have a really good support network around me. Do you look at your goals and reflect enough that you can know when to reframe them or change them? And do you look at failure as a lesson rather than a failure? Can you reframe that? And can you also, my final point is, can you look back and celebrate the little victories? I know I can. If I look back to where I started 18 months ago, I look nothing like that person there, not only in body, but inside. I've grown as a person. My confidence has increased massively. And I've taken on things that I wouldn't have normally done. I wouldn't have stepped on stage. I personally, something else I've recently agreed to is to be a regional cluster, like meeting coordinator for the APL. Would I have done that? No. Stand up in front of people, host a meeting, not really my thing. I've also put myself forward to be part of the PTA type, a group that helps run fundraising activities for the school my kids are at. Put myself forward for that. Would I normally? No, because I'd think, no, I'm staying away. I'll just stay in the shadows. Would I usually reach out and talk to other people? Like, I actually have had conversations with other athletes. I would normally not bother, but I feel like I am now, as a person, developing my confidence so much just by doing this process, that I'm able to improve other areas of my life. And that goes for business and personal as well. So really celebrate these small wins. It might be that you've finally got out of your overdraft, in maybe you've set up a cash flow that you haven't done for years. Maybe you've employed someone, your first person. Maybe you've taken the step to outsource. Maybe you've got your wife on board and have got her to take on some of the slack in the marketing and admin side of your business. That's a big win. Maybe you've just bought a new van. I don't know. There's so many ways things in your business that are a big milestone to you. I would urge you to look back and see how far you've come and then celebrate those wins, just like I'm celebrating mine. I know it's a loss, but it's a win to me. So that's it for this episode. When things go wrong, just reframe it, look at it in a different way, and take the lessons and put them into practice. I go again on stage in 29 days. I'll be back before then with a new podcast episode. And if you've got any questions, drop me an email, DM, whatever you want. Just get in touch and I'll come back to you. So thanks for listening and enjoy your week.